So if you have made it to question number 4, then you are on the right path to acing your CKAD certification exams. In case you don't know me, I'm the founder of CodeJanitor and I'm also recently CKAD certified. So without further much ado, let's just jump right into it, solving question number 4. So what we have in question number 4 is in namespace meta, the dev deployment exists. It pod runs kubectl loops trying to list deployment in the namespace, and it logs authorization error. Without deleting the deployment, perform the following. So we are expected to create a service account, and then we are also expected to create a role that will also get list and watch on the deployment resource. We also have to create a role binding, and then we also have to bind it to the role. Update the deployment so that its pod is using the service account. Okay, so now the first thing we have to do, let's just go right into killer coda and then let's check if we have that deployment existing in the meta namespace. So get deployment -n meta confirm. We have the dev deployment in the meta namespace. So the first task that it's requiring us to do is to create a service account. So when you get a question to create a service account, just use the CLI. So create SA. If you don't know how to use service account, you can spell service account, but you can also do SA. So if you don't know how to use it, just say create service account and then that's H. Now you will see the properties that you can just throw on here. So I will say, come back again now. So create SA, and then the name of the SA we are going to create is dev-SA, and then it should be in the namespace meta. Now we will create it, and then the next task is also to create a role. So we will create this role. So clear the screen. Create role, and then again, if you don't know how to use role, just say -H, and then you will see how you can use it from the documentation from the CLI. So create role, and then you throw in create role, and then we will put the name here. So the name that we got, dev deploy role, and then the verb, what is it requiring of us? So we need to give it permission for get, list, and watch. So verb, it's going to be get, list, and watch. Always remember to copy and paste here during the exams time so that you are sure that you are copying the exact test requirement for you to use. So we have the verbs, and then the main thing we also have to do is to give it the resource. So what resource are we going to give permissions to? So resource, and then we will say deployments. Nice. Then we should remember to create it in the namespace meta. Should remember to create it in the namespace meta as well. Okay, so just to verify, we have get, list, watch, and then that's all. Let us create it. Now we have also created the role. Now the next thing is to create the role binding. Create the role binding with this name. So create role binding -H. Always use -H so you can be very fast. You can go to the documentation and then copy. You can go to the documentation, find role binding, and then copy it and edit it. But it's better if you can be very fast with the CLI so that you can save yourself some time. So the name is create row binding, and then the name, it is dev row binding, I believe. So dev deploy RB. So dev deploy RB, and then dash dash role. So you bind it to this role. What is the role name? Binding it to this role, dev deploy role, and then we have to bind it to the service account as well. So to bind it to the service account, you just have to do dash dash, so you can see it here, dash dash service account, and then you say the namespace. The namespace is meta. So this namespace you see here is the namespace that you see in the test. So the namespace is meta, and then the service account, and then the service account is deploy SA, I believe. So dev SA. So dev SA. And then remember to create the row binding also in the meta namespace. Create it also in the meta namespace. Good. Now we are done. So now the last step is to edit the deployment to use the service account. So let us go to the deployment. So clear the screen. Edit deployment -n, and then we will say meta, and then what was the deployment name? Dev deployment. So dev deployment. Now we need to edit this deployment. So we don't have the service accounts being listed here, so we need to go to the documentation. So go to documentation and then search for service account. Service account. Configure a service account for a pod. So that's it. That's the right one. So inside the pod spec, inside the pod spec definition, you can just add this one here. So I'll come here, and then I'll add this one here, and then the name is going to be dev SA. Dev SA. So that's it. So whenever you are asked to use the service account in a pod, this is all you need to do. Just define the service account name and then reference the service account that you just created. So I will save this deployment. Now everything worked. So let us try and see if we can verify that we can get deployment in the meta namespace. So you don't have to waste your time to do this in the exams, but for sanity's sake, you can just check it out. So can I get deployment -h? Now we have to find one that will help us to. We have to find this one so we can check if we can get the deployment in the meta namespace as the service account name. So let us say --us, and then it says system. So --us system, and then the service account. So service account in the meta namespace, and then what is the service account name? So the service account name is dev SA. So dev SA. I hope you can see the bottom of my screen. No, you cannot see it, so hold on. I've made the screen size very big, so I hope you can see now. Yes. So now You just do this and then run it. It says no. Okay, what can I get deployment? Oh, we need to also throw on the namespace, so meta. Yes, so now you see, because we are checking it against the default namespace, so yes. Now we can see we have successfully configured that. So I will clear the screen, and then let us, moment of truth, let us check and see if our solution passed. So I will run my check file. So check. So it's question number 4. Now you can see we've passed question number 4 successfully. So if we are able to do this task successfully, then I can assure you that you can really bank in some points on the RBAC when you see this in the test. So don't forget to subscribe and also turn on the notification button, so whenever I have finished the next video, you always get notification, and then you can keep on practicing. And also you can get the resources that I'm using in the description below. So I wish you good luck and all the best.